Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alan and I'm currently converting my Ram ProMaster into a tiny home on wheels. After installing the divider wall, the normal next step probably would have been insulation, finishing up the framing, wiring and closing up the walls. At least that's how I approached things in my last build. But this time around, I decided to do things a little differently. Instead of closing up the walls early, I'm planning on leaving them open, or at least accessible, for as long as possible. Even once the build is finished, I want to be able to get behind certain panels if I ever need to troubleshoot or make changes later on. I guess you could say that I'm thinking a bit more long term this time around, more maintenance minded. So instead of completing insulation and framing to get to wiring and paneling, I decided to start working on the electrical system. And honestly, this part involved a lot more planning than actual building. Or maybe not. I had to figure out where everything was going to live. Lighting, outlets, AC and DC loads, charging methods, wire runs, monitoring, component placement, pretty much the entire backbone of the van. I spent a lot of time organizing tasks, mapping things out, and trying to make sure that future me wouldn't hate present me later on. I've actually been using this platform called Makerlog quite a bit to keep track of everything, especially since the number of moving parts keeps on growing. I won't go too deep into the electrical details in this video, but if that's something you'd be interested in seeing later on, I can probably put together a more dedicated walkthrough. Once I had a general plan in place, I finally started building. Generally speaking, I knew I wanted all my main electrical components on the passenger side near the wheel well. The idea is to dedicate that side mostly to electrical, while the driver's side will eventually handle anything water related. So the first thing I did was a rough pass on the wiring, just getting cables routed to their general destinations before things got too crowded. After that, I insulated, then boxed in the passenger side wheel well, since a few components are going to be mounted around that area. Some will sit flat on top, while others will be mounted vertically on the side. This time around, I'm also planning on mounting the AC/DC distribution panel and some of the monitoring components inside the upper cabinet on the passenger side. The goal is to keep most of my monitoring and control panel stuff tucked away and out of sight unless I actually need to access them. Overall, I'm trying to keep things looking as clean and intentional as possible. So in order to make progress there, I decided to build the upper cabinet first. I started by sketching things out, then built a basic frame and kept refining it through a lot of back and forth and dry fitting. Pretty much the usual process at this point. Build something, realize something's off, remove material, then try again. Once the cabinet was in place, I went back to wiring and started routing things more permanently, making sure every wire ended up where it will eventually needs to be, whether that's the upper cabinet or down by the wheel well. After that, the next step was figuring out placement for the rest of the electrical components. And honestly, the rest of this video is mostly me figuring things out as I go and slowly installing components, so enjoy the time lapse. It's finally starting to feel like the vein is becoming something. For a while, it felt like I was doing a lot of work without much visible progress. But now, things are slowly starting to take shape, which honestly feels pretty rewarding. Still trying to hit my deadline, so we'll see if I can power through the rest of the build. Although if I'm being honest, no one is powering through jack. But hey, I have to tell myself something. Some of us are trying to sleep at night. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure what the next video will focus on yet, but I do know there will be more progress. So subscribe to the channel to not miss out on the next updates. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.